this is Miss Andrea, and I just want to have like a 10-minute chat about what's going on with homeschooling right now. In my personal area where I live, in the South, in Georgia, in particular, schools had decided that they were going to let parents choose whether to do digital or whether to do in person. And the digital would be managed by the teacher in the classroom. And then they decided, no, we'll have the teachers in the classrooms, and then we'll have them work from the classroom and manage the digital. And then parents freaked out, and then they said, well, since y'all are so upset, we'll go back to plan A. And here's the problem with that. I have a friend who was told by her principal to prepare her will and to prepare her funeral. She's high risk. Her principal and her doctor told her this, and she diligently was working on it. I have another friend who was a sub, and because so many teachers have opted to break their contracts because they're high risk, all the subs have been called, and my sub friend has no health insurance. So if she gets sick, she can't even really go to the doctor. So this is like super upsetting to me. And I'm not alone. It's upsetting to a lot of people. It's upsetting to parents and the ones who wanted just to do digital. But now the teacher's attention is split because the teacher has to do the in-classroom learning and the digital learning. So a lot of parents are just like saying, you know what, forget it. We're going to homeschool. One of us can stay home and we're just going to homeschool. So that's great. But then what's happening is on the message boards, we're getting all these questions because there are homeschool message boards. If you decide to homeschool, just go to Facebook and write homeschooling. And if you're smart, you do homeschooling in your city or county. So you're talking to homeschoolers nearby you who know the specific laws and knows how the school systems react in your area. So they're coming on and saying, hey, I closed such and such school. And they said that, they asked me what curriculum we're using. And I was saying, well, I haven't decided yet. And the person on the phone said to them, well, you can't just choose any curriculum and start homeschooling. That's exactly how homeschooling works. She couldn't have been more wrong. And parents are just being told, you can't do this, you can't do that. And they're getting fed misinformation on purpose. Because here's the deal. With all these people not just moving to digital learning, but completely unenrolling, it's messing with the money. So they're going to do whatever they can do to keep families on the homeschool rolls. I think one of the things that I want to make sure that people considering homeschooling for the first time due to COVID to know is this isn't normal for any of us. So if this doesn't feel good, understand that regular homeschoolers aren't feeling the best right now. We're used to having homeschool classes, homeschool groups, homeschool clubs. I myself run a program where last year we did 1 day a week history, and this year we're scheduled to do 1 day a week history and then 1 day a week service club and science clubs. And we're going to get some theater club in by the end of the year. We don't know how this is going to work out. Our enrollment is suffering because we don't want to do in person. And a lot of people, they want to homeschool, and they want to use homeschool groups and clubs, but they want them to then meet in person because, it's a small group, so now we're less exposed. I get it. You don't want your kid in a big classroom, but you want him in a small classroom. High risk. And we're kind of not exactly following what the schools are doing. We're not going to meet in person for our class, our 3-hour history class. We're considering meeting outside when we can for service club and for science club. And a lot of the science stuff can be done online. So we're going to hybrid it out, but we're going to meet as little as possible. And we're not having like people within 6 feet of each other. We're just not doing it. But as I was saying, I want you to know that this is not normal for us. We're used to the kids having something to do that's a group activity 1 or 2 days a week. We're used to being able to, I know when my kids were in middle school, we did a field trip every Friday. We saw Bodies, the exhibition, we saw the Titanic exhibition, we saw theater, plays, we went to the Botanical Garden, zoo, Six Flags. Like, we did something. We went to any museum within 2-hour drive of us, we visited. So we did as much enrichment things as possible. So if this is your first time homeschooling, please understand that this is not normal. This is kind of homeschooling light. But I want you to make the most out of this time. My first year of homeschooling, I kept it very low key. My books were simple. I bought a series called What Your Whatever Grader Needs to Know. So what your first grader, second grader, whatever needs to know. And I bought a series of workbooks called Critical Thinking workbooks. And that's basically what we did the first year. I encourage you to spend this time enjoying your children, getting to really know your children. Let your children really get to know you. Have fun. Play lots of games. Because I know some of you plan to never go back to school, so I want you to set up a good foundation. And this quiet time is a good time to do it. Love, hug, enjoy the time. Homeschool in the mornings only, and love on them all afternoon. That said, I just want to go through some videos I've done recently that I think are important for you to take a look at. How to unenroll your child from school, the requirements for different states, the benefits of homeschooling during COVID-19. Let's see what else. Those are my lives. And then I talk about Khan Academy. I talk about Time for Learning. 2 curriculums that I really appreciate for new homeschoolers, specifically for new homeschoolers. So take a look through my last few videos. I've been more focused on, this is beyond accidental homeschooling. This is like crisis homeschooling. And I want you all to be prepared. I just want you to be okay. And you will be. But you have to be calm, and you have to be flexible, and you have to give grace, and you have to give yourself grace. But call this your relationship year. Call this your exploring year. Set a goal to read a certain number of books. Set a goal to watch a certain number of documentaries. Like, pick something kids like and just go crazy with it. Still do the basics. Still do, the required subjects. But when you're homeschooling, it just takes a few hours a day. So I'm getting close to my 10-minute mark, and I said I was only going to do a 10-minute video. So I hope that this was useful to you. Until next time.